how have you been? We haven't been,
Yeah,
hearing from you a lot lately.
yeah. I know. It's just like Yak, as you know. I mean, no one sees it externally; they just see radio silence. We've just been building our artists up for the last 6 months. We're really, really, really deep in development. Um, Focused on what's required to make our metaverse work. It's actually you've seen it. We've all been flat out, non-stop. So yeah, I guess if I was to describe how I feel right now, I'd be tired. Tired. But I do feel like, we're at that turning point where we can start just bringing out all these different products. And that's sort of going to be that conference that we're doing in Saudi Arabia on the 8th of June. Is a lot of that will be a coming out party for a lot of this tech as well.
So what would you say were the key areas of focus for the company in the recent months?
You know what? We sort of hit an epiphany in December because you know we mentioned before that we built companies before. This isn't our first rodeo, and what you have to really double down on is what's going to make your company successful. And like a lot of the times, you got to predict what's going to happen next in the market. Now, you saw last year at the tail end, you start getting metaverse fatigue. You had all this FTX stuff and happening, and crypto and whatever was sort of sliding. But metaverse fatigue was coming in because everyone talked the talk and spoke and did demos of outside spaces, right? And in Unreal with no underlying engine or whatever. And people were trying to go into the metaverse and do activations, but they weren't focusing on what we think is the absolute most critical part, which is active users. You need daily active users. And no matter which way that you look at it, every metaverse out there right now is like going to look at a wall, because you're going to get to the point where you're going to realize that the daily active users that you've got are like negligible. Because look at World of Warcraft. You get like between 760,000 to 1.2 million people signing into World of Warcraft every day. And a metaverse is lucky to get like a few thousand users actively participating on a daily basis. Like if they're doing 20,000 on a day, that's a great day. And that is almost like a drop in the ocean. And like our view in December, January, all of us, we were like, you know what? We're building this takeout. We've got this land. We're bringing out the cribs. But without people coming in to participate into the ecosystem, to reward landowners by wanting to become part of it or have utility from what they have or anything else, we're not gonna. All that's gonna happen is people are gonna be sitting on cribs with resources, maybe wandering around when you've got open spaces, but there'll be nothing to do. The focus that we sort of decided, which was the absolute number one focus, was bringing in people through the door. And that's basically what's fundamentally missing with every metaverse nowadays. Literally, a brand will come in and they will do an activation, and then they'll think, I didn't get any users. If you look at, and we work a lot with brands, we work a lot with celebrities. And if you want the metaverse to grow, you need those brands in there, you need celebrities in there, and you need users in there. And everyone just talking about who has land is saying, oh, you know what? We want to walk around. You know what? You're going to walk around for 10 minutes, then you're going to get bored, then you're going to go and never come back, and your land will never appreciate. The way to grow it, you grow the metaverse, is to make it attractive for brands and for people to participate with landowners. And that means you've got to bring them in. So, Yaka, that's been the drum that we've been beating for the last 6 months. It's absolutely hyper targeted on getting to the point where we have 1 million active users using that platform day in, day out. That's where we got to get to as our starting point. So yeah, I mean, and everything in our strategy is hinged around that, and like, how do we do it? How do we bring them in? I'm sure you'll ask some other questions, so I won't just cover it all in a monologue, but like, if we had to look at everything, it was, how are we going to make the metaverse successful? It needs users. Are those users going to be landowners? No. The landowners are going to be the people who have customers coming through the door or people who participate. The landowners are the people who bought the infrastructure. It's like Dubai, you bought the towers, you bought the buildings, and you bought the attractions. Now we're the people, So our number one focus of the company is bring those people to Virtua. That's got to be the key to any sort of business growth, and to not get to the point where metaverse fatigue kicks in and investors and users will go, forget it, this place is a wasteland, and they never come back. So that's sort of where we are at the moment. Yeah, long
Yeah, this
diatribe, but it's key. It's so important.
this makes a lot of sense. I think for everyone listening in. So what would you say, Jawad? What makes our metaverse different to our current competition? Why would users come to the virtual metaverse?
Well, if you look at the website today, it looks the same as any other one, right? Um, uh, it's got the same bits and pieces, and there's a mention of games. But what we're doing, and you'll see the website get a little refresh next week, and a bigger one at the end of next month, is we've been building a load of tech and doing a ton of development to make it like the single biggest gaming hub metaverse there is, because gaming has more users than Hollywood and music combined. Gaming users are already savvy with technology, and they already, a lot of them are conversant with crypto. So what we are going to do, where our metaverse is going to be different, it's going to be the home if you're a gamer. That means that if you've got a crib, there'll be games companies, there'll be multiple games companies, games hubs, games to play in your crib. I won't drop any alpha but you've seen the bits and pieces, right? And the whole point where we're going to be different is that we're going to be the bridge that actually brings in all the games from everywhere. That means Web3, Web2, and bring them all into a place, into one metaverse where it's all defined in a language which is very familiar to Web2 users as well as Web3 users. Because ultimately, if you're on Web2, NFT, metaverse, it's a barrier. But for them, DLC, persistent virtual world, that means a lot to them. So where our metaverse is going to be different is that we're going to be the home to all gaming. That is going to be our narrative, that's our mission. And we've been building the partnership, we've been building the games, we've been building the networks, and we've been building partners with big games developers as well that will eventually come to the fore. But Yaka, we're spending millions of dollars on building our games. And this is where we're going to be different. It's not going to be a case of let's give a grant and hope somebody will build something one day. No, no. We will partner, but also we'll partner with established game companies and we'll build our own games. Before Virtua, I had a mobile kids company, and we grew the user base on the App Store from 0 to 24 million in 9 months. And we want to do something similar here around acquiring mobile users and mobile gamers as well into the metaverse. And that is different to everybody else. Everybody else is just busy adding more utility in terms of customization and everything into the spaces, but there's not enough to do. People want leveling, people want crafting, but then also they want to have stuff to do with their assets. Go play a game. Go participate in quests. Go play, have different gameplay experiences. Go and play the games that you love and use those to earn assets in the metaverse as DLCs, or which can become NFTs, and you can do more cool stuff with them in other games. That's sort of where we're heading. I've spoken about game remixing a while ago, but we're deep into this, and no one's doing this. That's our big differentiator.
So with the games rolling out soon, right? So what is
Mhm.
your expectation around them? Is the plan to onboard more Web3 gamers or produce quality Web3 games which are lacking in the space?
You know what? It's a case of this. When you've got major brands, what they tend to do is that, first of all, they produce their own apps and games and hardware to show the world how it's done. And then it's all about bringing in the right games into your ecosystem to leverage what you have. Apple did that with the App Store. Even Microsoft did it. Like back in the day, the only computer worth buying was an Apple Mac because it was nice, it was glossy, it was good hardware design. And every Microsoft computer laptop was a plastic piece of garbage. And then what Microsoft did, they actually brought out reference machines, the Surface Pros and the Surface laptops, which showed how great engineering could also be coupled to Windows. And after that, they made some sales, but then everyone else learned how to use Microsoft technology and build great PCs. So what we're doing is that we're building reference games, mobile games, Web3 games, desktop games, tabletop, the whole gamut to show people in the space how it's done. How can you have a familiar Web2 to Web3 experience? How can you have a Web3 experience that works, which actually is relatable to Web2? So the way that I look at it primarily is that Web2 knows how to make great games, but they don't understand Web3 benefits. And Web3 guys generally don't know how to make great games, and they've got very limited audience whose motivation isn't generally about gameplay, it's about making money. So it's a very sort of nascent economy in Web3. So one of the things we want to do is try to have all that expertise we have in house and bring that to the metaverse. You know what? The people on the board, Doug Dyer, Rise of Legends, Harry Potter, founded, Warner Brothers Digital. You've got Gary who's worked on plethora of games, one of the most respected games developers. Then on top of that, we've got a studio which has built all our stuff out, which has all built our stuff out, which did tons and tons of games before we did Virtua. So we sort of have a good understanding of what makes a good game, but also because of our experience with Virtua and crypto in the last 4 years to 100 years, it feels like we've learned. Yeah, we've learned. You know that. We've learned actually where the failings are with Web3 games because we can identify it. Because you know what, we've built games, many games over the years. So if someone says, "I'm going to make a persistent open universe and it's going to have this and this and this," I know you won't. You know, like Wing Commander, Chris Roberts did Wing Commander. It was a AAA PC game, and he's been building an open universe called Star Citizen for over 10 years, and over $500 million has gone into development of that game to date. So how can anyone say we're going to do the same thing on what we've did on a raise in crypto? It's unrealistic, and it's because the games developers in Web3 generally haven't built a lot of big games. And big games need a lot of people. So the focus has got to be hyper casual, smaller, more engaging, multiple experiences, see what works, and then have some larger games once you've built up your expertise. So, it's a long answer, but like you can see that what I see for us Web3, I can see is bringing some expertise to the table, making them understand how to engage with the Web2 audience, and actually bringing them an audience. They don't have an audience. There's hundreds of thousands of wallets that have active wallets in crypto gaming. It's not millions, and only a percentage of those millions of wallets are going to want to engage with your game. This fundamental problem you have with Web3 games is they have no one looking at them apart from perhaps the wrong people who are only driven by game economy rewards. And the second they get what they need to get out. People have got to play games in Web3 because they're fun, but also because you have ownership and maybe an earning angle. But if your users are driven by earning only, they're going to leave. I mean, look what happened to Axie or Top Shots. It just comes and goes in phases.
So, what is your opinion? About the current, how would you say, like status of the metaverses and the feel and the community feel against metaverses. Do you think that it went down mainly because a lot of projects were selling smoke and there was
Yeah,
actually nothing in it? So much money went into it, and still no one has anything apart from
yeah,
maybe sandbox that have something to show. Everything
yeah.
else was just smoke.
Yeah, yeah. Look, fundamentally, there's a lot of smoke. Do you know how easy it is to kick out an Unreal demo? It's very easy, right? That technology is there. Unreal 5, you can knock out an outside environment, create a limited gameplay piece, and say, "Oh, I've got a metaverse." But you know what? Most of the work on a metaverse, it's like an iceberg. What you see is the top of the iceberg, but most of the iceberg is underwater. And that's what people don't really understand. There's economics behind it, there's modeling behind it. There's so much tech sitting underneath it, which makes it live and breathe. And that's actually what people don't appreciate. And on top of a lot of people don't appreciate, not everybody, but but on top of that, what tends to happen is that people drink the Kool-Aid. They see like this demo and they assume progress where there isn't any. And I think people are seeing more and more of that. They've seen more and more of things that have actually promised and haven't come to be. And that's basically, I guess, half the time it's because the people who were building these things didn't understand what was involved. And there's lots of optimism in crypto, but then there's also coupled with insane optimism, right? And then sometimes it wasn't that honorable, it was just a rug pull, they just talk garbage and just try to talk it up and get out. So we've seen all of this in crypto. But ultimately, people are seeing that they're seeing very little traction, and on top of that, people haven't been able to have a good use case and active, vibrant communities where people are doing stuff. You know, you got to
Yeah.
drive the users in, give them stuff to do, make it entertaining. It's not just about acquisition, it's about retention. The retention is driven by your games economy and constantly new content. You've got to make it creator driven. You've got to allow other participants in the ecosystem to come and monetize and build on top of your metaverse. If you think just putting up a house and skinning it is what's going to make people stay in your metaverse, you're out of your mind. You've got to be able to get people to come into your metaverse and have an entire gameplay experience, e-commerce experience, visual experience, have all of those things. And you can't build that as your own company. Other people have got to build it. But right now, most metaverses are you go in, you build a house, you put some wallpaper up, and that's it, halas, I'm done. So that's people are seeing that, and it's not just isolated to crypto. I mean, like even with Facebook, I mean, look what's happening to Meta. They went down a completely VR route, and because they completely went down the VR route, it's made things quite difficult for them because VR technology is not quite there yet. So no one has managed to make a metaverse really work yet, and that is setting in, and everyone's looking at all metaverse projects and thinking, oh, you know what? It's not going to happen, but you know what, it's going to happen, and AI is going to be a key part of it, but we've gone to the next shiny thing, which is AI at the moment, so all the focus everywhere shifted that right now.
Well, that partially answers my next question, which you already answered. That if you're still bullish on the metaverse, I assume that you probably are. And
Yeah.
while you mentioned the AI, what is your opinion about the integration of AI in the metaverse? Is it scary or is it bullish? How can it how can metaverses benefit from
Well,
the
look,
AI?
the first answer, the metaverses are the future. End off. They're the next version of the internet. And you know what, Yaka? We were doing talks at the Capital Club here in Dubai. I even was one of the guys who peer-reviewed a Cambridge paper, which was about AI and avatars in the metaverse 2 years ago. And basically, I think it's absolutely critical because look, your avatar is your identity, but the biggest problem with your avatar, again, you go to the metaverse, there's 1,000 things to do, just like there's 1,000 things to do with the internet. And it's information overload. People are just sitting there like drones going through endless amounts of information. But what you're seeing with ChatGPT and a lot of AIs, they're able to grab the information that you want and bring it to you concisely. So I see it as being an incredible thing that if it's coupled with the right technology, and we've got some initiatives going on with the AI right now, right? Coupled with our avatars, it would be amazing if your avatar could do stuff with you while you're not online, or your NPC could do stuff for you when you're not online. What is the stuff you're interested in? What are the stuff you're interested in doing? And it comes back, and you got like a small digestible version that will allow you to say, "Oh, okay, great. This, and this." You know, and that's actually fundamentally what's missing. That piece has been missing. First, you got Metaverse that doesn't have any users. Then you got AI that is like wasn't that smart, and now you've got great AI. You've got a metaverse, so you have to focus on bringing in users into the metaverse and having avatars and NPCs which are intelligent and can serve you even when you're not logged in. And I can see them being a lot of really smart initiatives you can do around that. And we're building something in house around this, around avatars and AI. That's going to come later this year.
There's some alpha for you, Virtuans.
Yeah, but they look amazing, right?
They
They're
do.
cool as
They do.
yeah, they're cool. Yeah.
So, can you provide us an update on the current state of the project and address any specific milestones or goals that have been achieved in 2023? You can go completely open on this one, and tell us what you think it's important.
Okay. Well, look, different things were in our pipeline. So we had open spaces and also an RTS view being worked out like Command and Conquer a la carte style. Those were the two things that we did a lot of work on. The RTS view was something it's very alpha, so I'm just going to talk about lots of random stuff and the community can pick up later. But like our view was that when you just walk into an open world, you can't see what's going on over there or over there or over there. And we're really big fans of, like Command and Conquer and those sort of things, top down, sort of 3D, cool, isometric, but where you can see what's going on. And so one of the things we've been working on, which is part complete, is like a full RTS view. And that RTS view right now is of Cardano Island. And that means you can sort of pan around the island, but then you can zoom in. And if it's a public grid, click, and then you switch to the 3D view. And for us, that was quite an important thing. And we were doing a lot of work around it. But then the more that we needed to understand, the more that we focused on the gaming stuff, the more we realized that actually it's more important right now than to have someone be able to scroll around and click on a crib, which they can see anyway if they're in inventory or on the website. We should focus in on building those games, building those APIs, and also refining the technology for the cribs, bringing in all the user feedback, and then building out our big hubs using that tech. So the key things that we've been working on are like the big 3D gaming hubs, the 3D gaming lounges, and also the games, the Virtua Games network piece, our avatar builders, and basically everything that's going to drive more user engagement. So that when people are able to come to their cribs and the metaverse, there's other people that want to engage with them. There's games they can play. There's things they can do. There's quests they can participate in. So we focused on all the dev pieces around creating the sticky dev pieces which will bring people in and make them engage with the ecosystem, while simultaneously building out, like all of the engines around leveling, the under the iceberg pieces. The engine around leveling, so we've got a leveling system that will happen. So you work your way up to the 50 levels when you go through each season. And the way the XP works in the system, we've built out the virtual games currency, which is the metaverse games currency. We've been building out the metaverse marketplace, because our existing marketplace is only focused on everything related to NFTs and stuff which is minted on Polygon and Ethereum, but the Cardano stuff is on JPEG Store. But ultimately, when you mint stuff in the metaverse, you need to have microtransactions. So you need to have an off-chain assets as well as on-chain, and be able to do the two and mint them in any platform. So we built all of that tech out as well. So lots and lots of building blocks have been built out. So that's the blockchain stuff, the API stuff, the business logic, the leveling engine, the quests, the challenges, all of that's done. All the XP systems are done. And then everything else that we've been working on, like, the avatar builder is not far away. We've got the games lounges, the customization stuff has been done to the point where we're quite happy with the rooms and the customization. And the other tweaks, like we do from the community, like voice over IP is built, controller support is getting built. So yeah, there's a plethora of stuff, but like fundamentally it's been broken into the category of, we need to build the pieces that people are going to engage with in Web 2 and Web 3, and gamers will engage with, so that people who have the metaverse spaces have people who can come to them and engage with them and participate in their economy. Otherwise, you only have like a few hundred people selling stuff to each other. It's not going to work. You need more. You need more people. And we've been focused on enabling that part, to the point where people are, it's community. So people are moaning that, oh, well, I don't have this and I don't have this, but we need to give you this first, or you'll have this and you get bored of it in a week. We need to find ways to bring people to you who will want to say, okay, you know what, I want to come into your crib. Oh, you've got this feature in your crib. I want to do it. Hey, I want to do a gaming challenge with you. Hey, you know what, I want to play this game against you. Like even the Jetman is like an esports underground tournament, which is multiplayer. So all of those things are like what we've been building out, just a ton of stuff. And a lot of it is coming down to that thing I said right at the beginning, is we need users in this metaverse. Without daily active users participating in the ecosystem, there will not be a metaverse which exists, which is going to stay. A lot of these metaverses are going to go to the wall because there's nothing to do and they have no users. So our core focus with Dev has been to focus on those pieces. And as usual, we've been remiss in updating the roadmap. We've just been doubling down on the development and not updating it. So yeah, I talk to my devs all the time about keeping Jira updated, and simultaneously I don't keep the roadmap updated. So that one's on me, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the questions that comes up pretty often. Why do Virtua, why don't we update the roadmap as we go? But I think we are working now on the roadmap, which is going to be more on phases, and it's going to be an active
Yeah,
roadmap where
exactly.
we'll be
Yeah.
where
And
we'll be like, yeah, go.
I'm almost of the opinion that the Jira roadmap that we're using now, the high level one we got a big picture, we almost publish that every quarter and just say this is what we're doing. Because that's got everything in there now at business strategic level as well. There's no reason we can't share that because that's what we're working towards, right? Though
Yeah,
we'll have to pixelate some stuff out, which is the really exciting alpha that we don't want to give away to everybody else, Our competitors will be doing next Tuesday.
and also what was built, right? Because I hear a lot of times I'm hearing Virtua is not building anything. There's no updates coming out, but we have new stuff coming up almost every month. So it's
Yeah,
also
look,
important.
there's regular updates, there's all this stuff going on, but this is the thing about this market, right? Shiny object, Unreal demo, woo woo woo. But actually, most of the work's going on at the iceberg. You're building the Lego blocks because we want to build something which is really like built for the future. It's gonna be awesome. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of games in development. We're working with Stainless. We've got games partnerships happening. You're even going to be able to play a whole ton of games directly in your web browser in your crib. There's all sorts of stuff happening, and that's what we're building. But like, unfortunately, because a lot of it's under the iceberg, it's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it's absolutely essential, and you have to build the foundation of this before you build the rest. And this is crypto, like GameFi didn't really work. Metaverses haven't got engagement. So we've had to do what we need to do to make it work. And to make it work, you need to bring that audience in. And what's going to bring them in? It's gaming. So let's get them in through gaming first, then we'll bring everyone else. And you know what? Without an audience, you'll never get brands. And you'll never get anything else coming in, which is more than a Web3 fringe NFT project, because big brands want audience. That's why Roblox is flying. That's why all these other platforms work, which are non crypto. That's why brands engage with them, because they don't care about Web3 or Web2. They just care what the users are. And like, a lot of them have tested these other metaverses and found them lacking, and they've never gone back, and they won't go back. But we talk to them all the time, and we know what they want. And they want people coming through the door. That's what they need. And so that's what we're going to accommodate, because we do that and it's a win for everyone. People will get brands, they will get games, they will get people coming in their metaverse, and their land values will go up, and they'll have more users wanting to do more with their assets, and they'll have more fun things to do in their metaverse. So all of it drives the goals of anyone who's got land. And it's going to be driven by what we feel is absolutely key. And honestly, in this case, this is the key. Bring them in. It's not Field of Dreams. Don't build it, they will come. You've got to drag them in by the ears.
So you've built successful Web2 projects before in gaming and all that, so you know how to attract Web2 Web2 gamers. But
We had 24 million users within 9 months acquired. That's what we did. So
how
yeah,
to
we
get
can do that.
how to get Web2 users familiar with Web3 features in a nice way where they understand, and where does the revenue comes in for the Virtua, that Virtua becomes a project that is financially self-sufficient.
You know what? This is something that people also need to understand. It takes a long time and a lot of patience to become financially self-sufficient. That's where investment comes in, funding comes in, and everything else. Amazon didn't make any money for 10 years. Like, at the end of the day, it's got to be a loss leader for a while. We actually don't care about profit for the moment. We care about user acquisition. But once you have enough users and enough games companies involved and enough people participate in the ecosystem, profit then comes. And profit comes from fees. Profit comes from transaction fees. Profit comes from participation fees. Profit comes from branding opportunities. You know, Virtual will make its money off slices, incremental slices of everything. Now, in crypto, we've seen a lot of platforms have done really well and made lots of revenues, but it sort of spiked and then their revenues have dropped. We sort of want to grow it on a sort of curve, a sort of exponential curve, hopefully, where we're bringing in lots and lots of gaming brands, and those gaming brands are doing really cool things in our metaverse. and they're bringing in their mass market users, and every time they make a sale, they drop an NFT, they bring a user to come for like an arena experience, they want to bring them in for a metaverse experience. We get paid by the brand, and when the user does any sort of transaction, we get our transaction off the side of it. So that's where we're going to make our money, and it's going to take time to get there. You know, the no big technology company has actually just instantly hit that revenue panacea immediately. You got to be ready to grit your teeth and climb up the hill, and that's what we're doing right now.
Awesome. That's
I mean, that's the last 6 months. You know, last 6 months we haven't been doing drops. You know, we literally haven't been doing drops because we've been focused on building the tech out and acquiring users. Now, what's that? That's just us investing hand over fist into the company and a vision that we believe in. You know, you got to invest and then you get your returns.
interesting. And Danny actually posted here that a lot of really big projects are unprofitable. Stuff like Roblox, for example, operates on a loss. Why is that?
You know what? A lot, operates at loss. I mean, it does make revenues, but what happens is that a lot of them start off at a loss. But something like Roblox has got a valuation based upon its equity value, so the shareholders are happy, and you've got revenues coming through. But like, if you look at the likes of Amazon, for example, you know, they didn't make money for a long time. Facebook didn't, you know, but they become behemoths. You have to understand as as an owner and leader, and you know, companies have got to understand that they're to get to here, you need to have the user base first. You've got to have market awareness first, and
Mm,
once you have enough users, then you become profitable. But sometimes the biggest companies in the world today started off with no profits. You know, when Google came out, I still remember they said, hey, you know, we're just like Web Spider and we're just something interesting. But they had ambitions. Amazon, when it flew, was when it introduced the reseller model, which is, I think, key to metaverse growth or an ecosystem growth. You've got to let the community participate in building out content. In Facebook, it was social media content. In you know, it's all the social media, right? It's people creating content. Insta, Snapchat, all of these things, all about people making content. Amazon, they built up the infrastructure to sell books. And when they introduced their reseller model, which would allow you to make anything you want and sell it on Amazon, that's when they started making money. So I think one of the tipping points as well is companies will become profitable, but they become profitable after a while, but only once they get that right balance of people making product for them, like Amazon or Facebook or anything else, and also people entering and participating in that ecosystem. You've got to have both, and it takes time.
I have just last two questions for you, and then we'll let you breathe for a while. What are your current priorities and focus areas in Virtua for you personally?
For me personally, it's like having a personal hand through every single thing that we're building right now. Like right now, you know, we've got the vision, we know the pieces, we know what everyone's building, but I've got a personal touch on absolutely everything throughout the entire ecosystem. And also, you know, we're working very hard to actually bring some more participation into the ecosystem. So there's so much partnership stuff that's going on that, you know, I have to personally get involved with. So one of my eyes is on what building, and the other eye is on bringing those partners into the ecosystem. You know, I mean, for like, you know, there are different areas that are already growing. You know, that they are even Saudi Arabia for me right now is a massive focus. You know, we're speaking at the World Metaverse Discovery on the 8th of June because they are doing so much in gaming, and a lot of people aren't even aware of it. You know, Scopely was bought just recently by Saudi. You know, there's a lot going on at the moment in that region. So right now, it's all partnerships. It's and also keeping an eye on what's going on. So you see the Slack channels. You get random comments from me across all of them. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But I think a bit different this year is right that you really focused on the growth, right, and overarching everything that's happening and not going into the details as
No,
before,
no,
and
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
If
and
it's not going to drive user growth, if it's not going to drive user acquisition, we shouldn't be doing it. You know.
yeah,
End of
And
story.
Nabil and Denise got a lot more responsibilities now. So users
Yeah,
love
look,
them.
because look, I was wearing two hats, CTO hat and a CEO hat, and you know what? Something's got to give. So Nabil and Anis have been doing a phenomenal job of running all the dev and the tech at their end, and also, we shouldn't affect Imtiaz, who's the CTO. He's Anis's counterpart over in Lahore. Those guys. I mean, like Yaka, you, Asad, Nabil, Imtiaz. Everyone at this end has been really leveling up this year to allow the people who are very senior to go into the do business development, because we have to do that to bring in brands, partnerships, you name it, it needs it, and you can't do both. But like I'm super chuffed with the way these guys have been pushing and engaging and just getting stuff done, you know. So hats off to all of you, not least to you, Yaka. I mean, seriously. I mean, good job.
Thank you, boss. Okay, last question. Last question, and it's not really a question. You can say yes or no, but uh, is there any alpha that you can share that was never discussed before?
Well, I think I've dropped a lot of alpha that hasn't been discussed before. So we got a whole bunch of stuff coming through the door at the moment. We got the Avatar Builder Creator, which is coming, which is absolutely incredible. We've got the gaming lounges. Has anyone spoken about the gaming lounges? Yeah.
Briefly, we touched it, but we didn't
Yeah.
describe it or anything like that.
Yeah, we got the gaming lounges. We've got the arcade machines. We've got there's a whole bunch of stuff coming out. But I'll just say, look, watch this space over the next 3-4 weeks. A lot of stuff is going to be, even the website is going to get a little refresh. So there's a lot of stuff coming. There's a lot of stuff coming, including at chain level, some stuff that's going to really sort of up our game in the next few months. But
Ooh.
like I think we've covered a lot of alpha, but I think the chain stuff's very important as well. But people will know more about that in the next couple of months.
There's a bone. There's a bone, guys.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jay, for this amazing interview, AMA or whatever.
yeah,
And we're looking forward to having you here again soon.
yeah. Look. Feel free, but like what everyone needs to understand is that we are building our butts off. Everyone is so busy, but it's like an iceberg. You're not seeing the glossy little visuals, but we are very invested and we're very full tilt. We haven't scaled down, we've scaled up because we know what we need to do, and that's to bring every gamer through the door. That's our mission. They're going to be the users, they're going to be the future audiences that all the landowners are going to love, and that's got to be our mission. Bring those people in so that people who bought in Virtua, the land goes up in price. There's got customers and people who also want to engage with them, who'll be jealous of them being the founders. That's what we want to do.
Okay, last question. What is your expectation on how many users will go through VGN by the end of the year through Virtual Games Network? How many users
Look,
will go through?
I want 1 million DAUs. That's our first milestone. It's not how many will go through. I want 1 million daily active users. That's our goal. We start there.
Wow.
Like, but like, look, we had 24 million users with a bunch of kids games. And we're releasing a ton of hyper casual titles this year ourselves, as well as partnering with companies who've got 50 million plus active users. We need to convert 1%. That's what we need to do. So
Yeah,
that's our goal. That's what we want to do.
1% into the metaverse. So our goal needs to be to convert 1% of Web2 gamers that are coming in through our games and everything to the metaverse, right?
Exactly. And you know what? Some of the mobile games, we make games APIs and stuff to connect things and engagement loops that'll be good for mobile. But just one gaming partner can have more than 50 million users. And so,
Yeah.
want to convert 1%, and we're going to have multiple gaming partners and our own games and our desktop games, the stuff we're doing with Stainless, and we've got HTML games. And, you know, so yeah, that doesn't seem crazy. It seems realistic. And you know what? We need it. That's our starter for 10. Because like 20,000 DAUs, like other metaverses, it's not going to cut it. It's going to die on the vine. So we have to bring that in to survive and be helpful and to be healthy. So that's got to be our focus.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and yeah, speak to you soon.
Thanks, Sugar.
If anyone has any more questions for Jay, put them in the chat. We'll write them down, and he will answer it the next time. The next time we host him in the Devs Weekly Update. Anis, are you still here?
Yeah, wow. That was
Huh?
awesome.
I could listen to Jay talk, all day.
All day.
He
Exactly.
is
No, that was good.
he is
There was
amazing.
some cool alpha there, a lot of justification for what we're doing, and very, very nicely explained the whys, and how the industry even needs to change to actually grow successfully. Yeah? So it's super cool to listen to Jay and share his thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would just like to add that the character builder that he was talking about. It's not the VFlex, and it's not Ready Player Me. It's something that Virtua is building on their own. So I'm super looking forward to that one. It's gonna be great. Um, okay, Anis, what was that about blockchain, man? What does that mean? I have no idea.
I have no idea. That's like pre-alpha alpha.
Oh, nice.
That's
That's good. That's good to hear.
yeah.
I mean, guys, we need to know that Anis is not telling the whole truth right here, because if anyone knows, he knows. But yeah, we'll wait. We'll wait our time for sure.
You have to
Um,
wait for that one. Yeah.
yeah. But super looking forward. Sounds interesting. Okay. So I have an announcement from Holy Crap. He would like to do an after show party with 3 NFT giveaway in the general chat worth 100 ADA. So Wendy will take over that. And Holy Crap, align with Wendy. And I'm sure that you two, you two can come up with something very good and some very nice either questions, riddles, or whatever that would find the right. So the NFTs find the right owner. A sidechain Tezos Algorand. What did Jawad mean? What did Jawad mean? That's a good question. I'll let you guys speculate. Must be good. If he dropped an alpha like that, it must be good. Okay, so thanks everyone for tuning in to this week's dev update. It's been a very long day. I'm super tired. I'll be honest. Feels like it's like 9 p.m. already. But good things are rolling out. Keep watching our socials. We now have four very active channels on socials. Virtual Metaverse, then VGN, Virtual Games Network, Landbots, and the new one, The Guardians, which just launched yesterday. So if you haven't followed The Guardians yet, go there, follow The Guardians. Go under verifications here in Discord, choose your faction, and start communicating in the new Guardians general chat. You'll love it. I promise you guys, you'll love it. Today, some new alpha will come out for the OGs in the OG sneak peek channel. So everyone who is holding, who's a landowner, who's a land bot owner, a prestige staker, has access to that channel, and expect something new. That's it from my side. Anis, any last
Also,
word?
no, that's it. I think there's more than enough to take in from what George just said. And I think it's a good place to end. Thank you, Yaka. Thank
I
you,
still need
Jay.
to process. I still need to process everything he said. It's a lot to go through. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Speak to you next week. Tuesday, Scrapyard. Thursday, it's weekly dev update. And yeah, have a great day, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Stay crypto and stay safe. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.